Peace. Today's episode of the Uplifted Being Podcast has been brought to you by the Educated E-Commerce Online Learning Platform, presented to you by serial entrepreneur, author, and podcast host of the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Podcast, Jay Jones. Learn how to build a six-figure e-commerce business in 26 weeks with the Educated E-Commerce course today. Hit the link in the show notes or log on to educatedecommerce.net to sign up and get started now, family. Peace.
Greetings, and welcome to the Uplifted Being Podcast, family. It's time to sync up and be uplifted.
You know that feeling. That feeling, you can't describe it really. It's just like that you feel it. That you feel it. That you feel it. That you feel it.
This is how we do it over here at the Uplifted Being Show.
They say once you find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe.
I have to be it. Rather than I have to have it or I have to do it. It's like I have to be it. I have to become it. I have to be the change that I want to see.
You realize that that's a reflection of you, and what they do, you can also do.
The tangible versus the intangible, and as we know, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not real.
Find your vibe, you find your tribe.
But you feel it.
No, we're gonna keep it light.
Light, love, and peace, family. Welcome to the Uplifted Being Show. You're here with Sister Angela, also known as Melanin, hailing from London in England in the UK. Welcome to another episode of the show. We are back. And boy, do we have a special show for you today. Really thrilled to have a special guest on. But before we get into all of that, if you are joining us here for the very first time, a big, light, uplifted, loving, warm, fire welcome to you. We are about anything and everything to remind you, not teach you, not persuade you, convince you, to remind you of the powerful creator that you are, that each and every one of us is. So, welcome. Sit back, don't stand up, just kick back, vibe with us as we get into the show. I'm going to pass it off before we get into the good stuff. So, hailing from London in England, I'm going to pass it over to my brother, my mother, over there in the US, in which city?
Brick City!
Brick.
Bricks, baby! Thank you, my sister, from the mister, oh, I love them bitters, as my king would say. Oh man, I'm so thankful to be here, family, and welcome to the Uplifted Being Show, another episode. As my sister has beautifully stated, we are here to remind you of the powerful creator that you are, each and every one of us, family. So, we got one for the books, baby. Tune in, tap in, turn on. Uplifted Being style. And make sure you go to upliftedbeing.com, and you can also download us on Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube. What else? Apple Pod,
iTunes,
Spotify. Rate, like, and subscribe, family. And also go to upliftedbeing.com and hit that donate button, because we got some things in the works and we need your help to bring it out, family. So if you've gained some insight, some life-changing techniques, tips, trades, habits, anything from our show, give us a shout, man. Hit that donate button, man. You know, help the family out. You know how we do. But without any further ado, I'm gonna pass it off and across the imaginary border where things get out of order, and it ain't not one damn thing he can't fix. But you better know he from the
6666666. Carving, Melanin Rich. Yeah. Have the beautiful people. It's your brother Brian Ni Akoboy-Doku, also known as Melanin Rich, and wow, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back with my brother, my sister, and our special guest. We got a beautiful soul in the building with us, and let me tell you what we rapping about real quick.
What are you rapping about?
Naked truth.
Ooh. What you be saying, King? Better wrap it up like a veggie burrito.
Yeah, man.
That kind of naked.
No, we unwrapping it. We unwrapping it today, and we got a wonderful guest with us. You know, we got a sister. She's a Reiki master. First and foremost, she's a proud mother, doing her thing. You know, mommy's on deck. You feel me? You know.
Mommy shark.
Yo, that song is addictive.
It really is, though. It really is.
You know, so she facilitates workshops to encourage sensual growth with women. You know, and she's currently working on suicide prevention courses. I mean, she does a whole lot of things. I can't even, you know, I'm just scraping the surface, but, you know, we're going to let her introduce herself. We got Sister Lazuli, also hailing from the 6. Let's give her a warm, uplifted being welcome, family.
Thank you. Do I even need an introduction after that? That was lit. All right. But yes, my name is Lazuli, and like you said, I am a Reiki master, and more than anything, I'm a soul that's just really trying to make or add values to, you know, the people that I cross paths with. So one of the ways that I do that is really working with women and really encouraging them to tap into their sensual side again, because I found that doing that for me opened up a new side of myself that really encouraged growth in areas that I didn't even know was possible. And in addition to that, I am currently working on a suicide prevention workshop for mostly youths in high school, because I feel like kids don't have that platform to just be vulnerable and be open about what they're really facing. So, and of course, very proud mommy, more than anything, that has taught me everything about life. So yeah, that is me, and that's just a little bit of
the surface.
Awesome. So let's get into this, because this is so timely. Because in the last few weeks, last couple of weeks or so, I think I even attended a workshop, part of which is about creativity and sexuality. So from your perspective, Sis, will you break down, you know, a lot of people, I would say, we assume that sensuality is sexuality, and they're two actually very different things. So how would you break that down for our listeners?
Okay, so, and that's the thing. I found, if you look at my Instagram, you would assume that I'm a very sexual person, just by looking. But what I found, that sensuality was it's really a woman's right. It's who we are naturally. It's just an essence that really envelops us, and we shouldn't try to control. And one of the books that I read was Luna Yoga, and it talks about a woman in today's society not being able to naturally swing her hips like women used to back in the days. And what that does is it prevents your energy from flowing in a way that it's supposed to naturally. So for me, sensuality is a way of being. It's an innate part of us that's not explored enough because of the Western society that we live in. Sexuality is a very vast topic that we can go on and on and on about. But even sexuality itself, it's not as straightforward as just being sexy or wanting to have sex. And I think people hear words and internalize it the way they choose to, based on the way they were raised. But no, sensuality is it's a woman's right. It's a necessity, is what I feel.
That's deep. I would say, before the brothers jumping, but I would say that from my own experience, even just, we talk about wordplay, but if you literally just tune into the word, as in our senses, is our ability. We by nature are emotional beings. Our ability to feel is at like the core of who we are. So when you say sensuality from that perspective, I get, the ability to really be able to express and fully experience all of our senses.
Yeah. And some ways are going to be sexual, but or it can be viewed as being sexual, but I feel like even sex in itself, it's a very strong feeling that you share with someone that you're connected with. And I feel like if people overlook that sensual side, then you can really set yourself up for just like absorbing negative energy during that process that a lot of people aren't aware of. So yes, being attuned to your senses and really knowing that sensual side of yourself, I think it plays an important role with the emotional baggage you welcome as well in terms of sexual experience.
For sure. Kings, do you want to remind the listeners of the sacred, the sacred
energy
exchange, that we've spoken about in a couple of the episodes, I think is probably really relevant here.
I bow down to the king.
In the back. Hey.
No. But all right, bro. My brother. I'll take the wheel.
All right.
Today, take the wheel. Oh man. Being that we was talking about naked truth, so many things that I have owned at this point in my life, but I'm not proud of, but I will speak my truth. Oh man. So when I was about 17, I didn't know the power of sensuality, right? And I didn't know the difference that I do now between sensuality and sexuality. But I think I conjured up a succubus when I was about 17. I did this sexual dance or sensual dance to that song T-Shirt and Panties by Adina Howard.
I got my T-shirt and my panties. Okay.
I wish she said boxers, but you know what I mean. I'm with it. So I did a sensual dance. You know what I'm saying? Because in that time, I wanted to set myself apart from the rest of the pack. You know what I'm saying? Set myself apart so that I stand out to women. You know what I'm saying?
You're a real smooth brother.
Yeah, I was on my genuine shit. But naturally, other brothers would question my masculinity, which I'd punch you in the face in a second. But that's not masculinity. But in that time when I'm 17, that's what I thought was masculinity. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I would take, I had a little physique, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, all of this to be said, I didn't find out later that I had conjured up a succubus, and I had to detach myself because for about 7 years, from 17 to 24, I didn't know why there was so much sexuality, coming towards me. You know what I'm saying? Like, women out the woodworks, like women I would never even expect, you know what I mean, to be that way. They either all preppy or, just put on a scholarly look or, they sexy in their own way. Just was coming out the woodworks.
Some brothers would pay to have that problem, y'all.
Shit, I would pay to not have that problem. With what I know now. But anyway, I own my story. And I was a little thought bop. And I was Thalamus Prime, and yeah, man, I would say that I would like to warn other people to be more responsible with their sensuality, to be more responsible with their organs, because it's not about getting pregnant. Because you know what I'm saying, I just had my first child. First biological child. And it's more so of every time you engage in that action of sexuality, you're not just taking in the pleasure, you're also taking in that person's traumas, pains, everything that person has went through spiritually,
and who they've been with,
and and who they've been with. So
you just slept with the whole neighborhood.
Yeah,
pretty much. and
boy,
protection. You still swapping juices.
Yeah.
Still swapping energy.
Yeah, energy
So
pervades everything.
Right. So you taking in all of that energy, and then when you get to the point of self-realization, and you have to confront yourself as to why the fuck do I feel all of this damn tension, or why my life going, you know what I'm saying? All of these things, it really stems back to who you've sexually encountered.
Yeah.
So that's my part of the naked truth. Maybe I'll share more later. Maybe.
That was plenty, but that was cool.
That's important, man. I feel like with Reiki, I learned a lot about energies and just like the way we exchange energies. And I feel most people overlook that and think it's nothing. But like you said, like it really affects you, and energy has ways to manifest itself physically. So yes, you might just think of, let's not get this person pregnant, or let's wear a condom and not contract a disease. But it's just, you're creating other dis-ease in your life just by sleeping with someone you really don't know, or not knowing who they've been with. And I think that's why transparency to me now is so important, because energetically there are ways to protect yourself. But if you don't know what you're protecting yourself from, you're just going to dive in and think you're fine. So that's sexual energy.
Powerful.
Yeah, it's scary. Scary thing.
And sis, if you can help the listeners, we always try and take things back to basics and don't assume. But can you just tell people a little bit about Reiki, as in what it is?
Yes. Reiki is, as a Reiki master, we don't consider ourselves healers. We are channels for Reiki to pass through us to assist the energetical and physical body in doing things that it already knows how to do, and that's healing itself. So Reiki is a hands-on healing method, hands-on or off, and it helps with just balancing your energy, your physical body. So it helps with aches and pains. It helps with stress relief. Reiki, I felt for me personally was more of a door to really tap into who I was naturally, because I feel like we're all healers in our own way. So personally with my Reiki sessions, I find that I become very intuitive and I hear messages for my clients. So Reiki can be very different for everyone, but the basics of it is just being a channel for energy to pass through you to heal.
Beautiful. I mean, that makes sense, especially when you said we're all healers.
Yeah.
Because we are supposed to, I mean, a lot of the work, I guess, that people get done or are seeking to get done and that we've lost now is the ability or the awareness or the knowledge about how to heal ourselves. So even if you're not healing anybody else, but the fact that usually we are born with the innate ability to heal ourselves, but then we just get, depending where we're from, let's just say in the West, we just get conditioned out of, you know, how to do that naturally. And so we have to learn our way back.
Your whole life, you're on a conveyor belt. You go to school, then more school, then work, and you don't really get to tap into those natural talents and abilities that we've been gifted. But yeah.
Thank God for the system.
Yeah.
That's one perspective.
So over it.
Oh my word.